It seems like in every episode, I tell you I'm going to do something very different. I'm going to say it again, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. We'll see. Don't go away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and Happy New Year, one and all. So glad I can be here with you guys today to celebrate New Year with a brand new video. And yes, it's going to be something different. Now, the competition in the Diecast YouTube channel world has become, well, clogged. There's a lot of guys out there trying to do diecast YouTube videos, and some are great, far better than I am. But I'm going to continue to just be me. And in the new year, I've already talked about maybe working and trying to improve the channel. And mainly what I'm talking about is trying to provide better quality. I want to improve camera angles and audio and lighting. I want to give you a better experience when you visit my channel. I'm going to continue to be eclectic. You'll still get your videos on Saturday for Diecast, and then on Mondays and or Wednesdays, you'll be getting videos. And I'll mix it up for you guys, okay? But if you do want to see something different, please put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But let's get back to the topic at hand today, and that is a die-cast car to start off the new year. Let's get to work. I'm a self-admitted redline snob. I'm just going to say it. I prefer the first 2 years of Hot Wheel Redlines. Once we started getting into the later Redlines and even into the Black Walls, I really lost interest in Hot Wheels. But when I saw this unique casting, there was just something about it that just snagged my attention. I think maybe in part it's because it reminds me a little bit of the wonderful model, the Boot Hill Express. This is the Stage Fright Hot Wheel, and I just felt like, man, I need to do this. I'm feeling this. So yeah, we're gonna restore this Stage Fright and see what we can do with it. So the Stage Fright has one post and a little hook type tab thing at the rear. And that tab thing is actually going to give me fits. It's going to be very difficult to get the two apart. I think it's because I'm pretty positive the base is a little bit bent. Not enough for me to be able to tell for sure, but I think that's why it was a little bit more difficult to get it apart. But either way, I drill out the tab, and once that's done, I can go ahead and separate the base from the body. Now, you know how I feel about vampires and vampire eggs. This thing is preloaded with vampire eggs, and I guess the thing is, at least I'm aware that they're in there. It's not going to surprise me. I'm not going to open up the car and then just be attacked by all these little vampires. I know they're in there. I'm grossed out, yes, but I'll deal with it. So, after a little bit of persuasion, I can finally get the base to come free from the body. And it's in okay shape, but I'm going to have to deal with the wheels because they all have to go. And then you've got this unique little plastic piece that is the interior and the roof, and it's all of it rolled into one. And it's really interesting the way it kind of just goes in where the seat goes and then just coils around the entire body. It's a pretty unique bit of engineering. So basically, I'll just take it at the back, unhook it, and just uncoil it. So with the plastic piece removed, I can set it aside, and here's the body with the vampire eggs. All in all, it's not in bad shape. Should clean up pretty nicely. And we'll just go ahead and plop it right into the warm liquid goo phase and let it do its thing. Okay, so I've got the base, and these are just pretty much the straight axles that are crimped into the base. That's a problem. Also, it's got the bigger rear wheels. That's also a problem. So here's my plan. I'm actually going to cut away one wheel on the front axle and one wheel on the back axle, so I can nip the end of the axle off and just slide it out of the crimp. That's my plan for getting these off, and then we can worry about putting something new on later. So my plan to cut off the wheel and the end of the axle and then just slide it out of the crimp, for the most part, is working okay, except that the front axle is kind of wonky and making it really difficult to pull through. So I have to put a little extra elbow grease in there and really kind of work it, but it finally comes off, and now I can pay attention to cleaning up the base. So I've been asked about electropolishing and zinc plating and stuff, and why I don't do a lot of that. And the simple answer is the lime away mix, half lime away, half water, really does a good job on most of the diecast I do. Now, it won't work for everything, but it's always now going to be my go-to just because it's simple and quick and easy. If I have something really in bad shape, I will still turn back to electropolishing or zinc plating or both if need be. But hey, the lime away works. Why wouldn't I turn to it? So after the lime away, I can go ahead and give the base a good wash, and then I'll hit it up with my brass bristle brush and really bring out some of the shine. And then this base, especially the front part, is really prominent in this car, so it's gonna need a really, really good polishing. If I had any inklings of doubt here, I would absolutely put some zinc on it, but it's really cleaning up very nicely, and I think between the brass bristle brush and my beloved Flitz, I think we should be okay here. See how nice this is looking already, and I haven't even touched it with Flitz yet. This is just with the brass bristle brush. So lately I've been finding a need for some of the bigger wheels, and I found that on these little wagon cars, or whatever you want to call them, they've got the big wheels on the back, and they're great for harvesting. So I bought like 7 or 8 of these things. I keep them available, and if I need a big set of wheels, I'll just take this apart and boom, I'm all set. So in this particular case, I need both fronts and backs. I'm going to get them off of this casting, so I'm going to just drill this sucker apart, get these wheels off, and I'll use them on my restoration. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a little Flitz, put it on my finger, smear it all over the base, and with a polishing wheel on my rotary tool, we're going to get this little devil nice and shiny, because these whole front fork things, they stick way out, they're super prominent, and they really need to shine. So after the rotary tool, we'll take a nice soft cloth and we'll buff this all out and bring out the shine, and then we can go ahead and move forward. So I want to paint the brake calipers on the base on these front wheels here, and since they're out and exposed and ready to go, I might as well do it now and make it a little bit easier on myself. So I'm just going to use a little bit of gunmetal Tamiya paint here and just brush it on both sides and make sure that this is all nice looking before I go ahead and put everything onto the base. Okay, so we can go ahead and pluck the body out of the warm liquid goo, and it looks like the job is done. The paint is slurming off, so we're going to run to the sink, wash this off, and then come back and see what we have. Well, here she is. Looking good, all the paint is off, and the nice thing is this is going to get another opaque paint job, so I don't really need to worry too much about the sheen or any toning in the metals. All I got to do is just brush it down, homogenize it, make sure I get off any last little bits of paint specks, and then we can go ahead and head to the paint booth. So I'm going to start this paint job off with a little bit of Tamiya fine primer and of course my mask to protect my lungs. And if you haven't tried Tamiya fine primer, it may seem expensive for a small can, but first of all, let me tell you, this stuff goes way further than you would think, okay? Second of all, I have never seen a primer work better in my entire life, okay? I'm 60, almost 61, and in those years, I've never seen a primer give me a nicer, smoother finish. So now I'm just going to mix up some Tamiya gloss brown, and I've thinned it down with a little X20 and some leveling thinner, and I've got it nice and the perfect airbrush consistency, and we're just going to go ahead and lay it down like normal, starting with a mist coat and then some medium coats and then finally some nice wet coats. There's so many possibilities with this casting. You could go like old school stagecoach, you could have it dilapidated. For me, I'm going show car. So my brown paint job is going to be laid down nicely and then covered with my clear coat to give it just this beautiful, deep, glossy shine. It should look great. So the length of the axles, they were just a little bit long, so all I had to do was just scooch the wheels to one side, nip off a little bit of the axle, and using some fence pliers, just mash down on it to make a new end, and now I've got perfectly sized axles. And what I did is on the crimp, I just kind of grooved it out with a file, and then I got in there with a little screwdriver and just made a little slot just enough so that I could tap the new axles into the crimp, and that worked like a charm. Once I popped them in, I put a little dab of CA glue over the top of them just to lock things together, and it worked perfectly. So now, while the base really does shine like a brand new penny, it's not chrome, and I want the springs on the front to be chrome. So I put a little Molotow chrome into a cup, and I'm just going to paint those up to give them a little bit next level shine. And that should just offer a little bit of variety and detail in this build. So I don't have a new plastic piece, so I'm going to have to make this one work. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pair of pliers, and I'm going to kind of straighten out the steering wheel because it's got a little arc to it. So I'm just going to kind of bend it back into shape, and hopefully that should work. Now I'm just going to take my razor knife and I'm going to trim away some little fuzzies along the top edge where it was like dragged along the ground and stuff. And I'm just going to kind of cut away any big pieces and then file anything down that needs it and just kind of give this thing a once over cleanup. Then I'm going to break out my secret weapon, model glue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just brush a little bit of this liquid cement over some of the last little bits of fuzzies and have it melt those away. So just a little bit of it right over the fuzzies. It'll get those to go away, and it's really going to clean this piece up and make it ready for paint. So I'm pretty happy with the way the plastic piece has come out so far. It's looking really nice and neat and clean. And now I'm just going to really freshen it up by putting a coat of Tamiya flat black paint all over it. And that should just really make everything look like a brand new plastic piece. Could I have not put clear coat on this? Absolutely. The paint job came out really nice right out of the bottle, okay? It looked great. But, you know, I've told you before, I have kind of a thing, okay? It's just a thing I've got, that I love the way this clear coat looks. I get it from Bright Vision. It goes on super easily, and man, does it make the biggest difference. It is so deep and wet looking. It just looks amazing. And like I said, I'm trying to build show car here. And so I want this thing to be awesome. Okay, so we're about ready to put this sucker back together, and I'm going to hook the interior in first. And then I'm going to take that plastic roof piece and just kind of wrap it around. It goes up and over the top and then down along the back and then wraps up and underneath it and kind of hooks there. And it looks great. This flat black piece all cleaned up on this high gloss brown finish of the body. It's looking amazing. So all that's left for it is to screw the base back onto the body. It'll just take one screw and that little hook thing in the back, and then I'll do a little bit of detail painting here, and we can call this project done. So fortunately for me, that little back hook actually goes back on easier than it came off. And things are really starting to look great. I'm feeling very excited about this casting. And I gotta be honest, did you ever think you'd see me do a restoration of a car with black walls on it? I mean, that's not my thing, okay? It really isn't, but man, am I loving this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. The Stage Fright, the Hot Wheels Stage Fright. Now, you can't tell me, you cannot tell me that this isn't something different, because it is. This is not a car I do, but I do it for you. Why? Because I'm a giver. That's how I roll. I love to give things to you. And I'm giving you my Stage Fright, and I'm showing you that even the weirdest little Hot Wheels casting can come out fantastic if you just decide to go for it. And that's what I did here. I hope you loved it. And if you loved the video, please give it a giant thumbs up. And don't forget to click subscribe and squash the notification bell so you never miss one of my unusual diecast builds. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And let's get the year started off right with lots of questions, lots of comments. All right, that's going to do it for today. I want to just welcome you all into 2022. I hope it's a fabulous year. I hope we can all put this silliness behind us that we've gone through for the last 2 years and have an amazing new year. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.